Jose Aliaga Show, and today I have a special guest. His name is Troy Coffin. Troy is a political analyst, and today we're going to talk about the highlights, or what we believe is the highlights of 2022. How you doing, Troy?
Doing great. Looking forward to 2023. Had some ups, we had some downs this year. The election didn't go as smoothly as we'd liked, but we just got to move forward and figure out where we went wrong and what we did well, and continue what we did well and improve what didn't go so great.
Yeah, it was a lot of factors, of course, and then it's sad that if we talk about Michigan, we have three counties: Wayne County, Oakland County, and Macomb County. Macomb, it has gone Republican lately. We increased Republican voters, which is very good for the Republican Party.
Yep.
Oakland is different. Actually, we lost more seats in the county commissioners board. We lost some seats, like we always have red seats in the state rep. We lost the House. We lost the Senate in Lansing, governorship, and everything. But I believe that we have to improve. We have to take notes and work together and as a party and stay. Right now, I know a lot of people believe or have that perception that we are divided, but I think it's time to unite our party and
Absolutely. And I think some of the mitigating factors that costed us Oakland County and some of Southeast Michigan is we really hit on the topic of high crime. And unfortunately, because of the school shootings, such as the Uvalde, Texas shooting, and the shooting locally here, the Ethan Crumley, Oxford school shooting, I think unfortunately a lot of people, when we kind of push the crime narrative, they saw it as an opportunity to try to promote gun control. And unfortunately, a lot of people, acted on emotion, and that's what tends to happen when people vote based on emotion and not based on principle. Because when you think about it, bad people are always going to have guns. Bad people are always going to find access, whether it's legal or not, just like they do everything else. But I don't really think we thought hard enough on the narrative when we pushed high crime, that we should have focused not just on the high crime, but we really should have made it totally about supporting the police.
True. It is true. Now I want to share we're going to talk about a couple topics, national topics, and I want to share this with you. I want your opinion about this. It's about Twitter. What do you think about this? You see it?
Yes, I do.
So can you read this? This is a popular meme that we have lately, and a lot of people agree with this. What do you think about this meme? You can read it for the people, that are watching the show. You see it?
All right. Yep. So new CEO explains within minutes why certain accounts were temporarily suspended. Okay. Old CEO allegedly lied to the Congress and insisted the platform doesn't shadow ban users. Then, of course, media, Elon Musk is a threat to democracy. Well, of course, they're always going to say Elon Musk is a threat to democracy because the media is complicit in the FBI and social media takeover of this country. The media is always going to spin the narrative. They're always going to try to escape the pressure when people start asking the questions. They're always going to try to flip the narrative to something new.
True, and it's sad.
And they've really made Elon Musk like the fall guy. And, Elon Musk they can't really make him a character. He posts great content. People love his content, whether you're a moderate Republican, an independent Republican, even some Democrats I talk to are like, yeah, Elon Musk isn't a bad guy. So they can't really demonize Elon Musk like they're trying to, but they're going to make every move to try to make Elon Musk look like a madman. I don't think it's going to work. I really don't.
I agree 100%. But the main point here is some of the accounts were fake. They inflate some of the Democrat campaigns with fake accounts. They cancel or ban some of the Republican members or conservative that try to bring the truth to our country. So to me, this is a huge attempt of the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And it's sad this happening in America. Many people refer to the Nazis, Hitler back in in World War II, back in that time, in the 30s and 40s during World War II. But it's happening again, but with social media, with our technology. Now it's more efficient for them to cancel out people. If you put something interesting that is the truth and you want to share with everybody, it doesn't matter because they can ban you and just 2 or 3 people can see it, but not the whole world. And that's sad. And it's happening in America. It's happening in other countries. Just so you know, Twitter, Facebook, they have been banning the people on the right side of conservative in many countries. It's South American aware, and it's sad, even here. So obviously, when Elon Musk talked Twitter, brought to the light all these lies about what social media is, and it's sad. But you're right, it's gonna change, and I think a lot of people like Elon Musk as a businessman, as a activist, because very much to me is an activist, and I respect his position.
Absolutely.
So now going back, and one of the biggest crises right now that we're seeing is that at the borders. So what do you think about the borders?
Well, I think that the border crisis is still just as out of control as it was a few months ago. I know Governor Abbott is still, busing migrants to sanctuary cities, which I think is a hilarious tactic, but that's not going to sustain a long term. It's more of a, I think he's just doing it to prove a point. We still don't have answers. We still have to figure out what to possibly do now. I saw a few weeks ago that the border patrol agents have been disguising themselves as illegal immigrants to try to bust some of the operations and crack down on some of these mass plots, these people coming here. But yeah, we of these illegal immigrants coming here, I should say. And I don't think that there's a solution in the near future. I think there's a long way to go.
I mean, if you look at it, this is not all of them are bad people. I have to assume that people looking for better life for their kids and their families. But the point here is they're escaping for countries that are socialists, communists, they have dictators. This is people that have been voting socialists and communists, electing the wrong thing, the wrong people, and they see those policies as lies, fantasies, and failure policies. Very much lies. And when they see those countries, they are very rich because those countries have petroleum, they have gas, they have gold, natural resources. They are very wealth rich. They are rich countries. But they are poor because they elect the wrong leadership. And when they see so much corruption, lies, and the socialists is basically destroying their countries, they decide to come to America. So when they come here, Biden administration, instead going for a process where we know we want to check it out who they are, and we have this process for a long time. This most of the immigrants that we currently we have in America here, they went to the legal process. Biden has opened the borders, like Somalia. Somalia is one of the few countries, like United States now, they have open borders. We got all these people crossing the borders, but people sometimes don't understand. Some of these people, when they come, the first thing they do is applying for welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, cash assistance, SCR. SCR is when you actually apply for the government, the state government, to pay you for your gas, your electrical. Section 8, a housing. Who is paying this? Is we are paying this, And they sometimes they think, oh, if we have more kids, we get more money. And at the end of the day, we have to pay more taxes to pay all this. But currently, we have inflation, which is affecting everyone. With inflation or gas, electrical bills, internet, gasoline, everything went up, like in different states, high percentage. But the current salary for average people is just increase, what, 2 or 3%, which is very low in comparison to the inflation. So we're having a lot of illegal immigrants coming in. And in the other side, we're seeing also the effect of that, because in some of the places, some crime is rising, and it's no good for us. So we attract more crime. And obviously, I want to see good immigrants coming in, because I don't know all of them are bad people. All the people crossing the border are not bad people. They come in because they wanna come to reach the American dream, because the American dream is very popular around the world. But they're not coming in the right way because Biden. Now people are trying to come to the border. It's a lot of ladies that got raped. A lot of people have been murdered in the borders. We have illegal drugs coming in every day. We have already, I see the last report. We had 3.5 million people in camp, and most of them we don't know who they are. We assume they're good people, but we don't know because we didn't have the right process to verify who they are. We don't know the names. So that crisis is terrible for the borders, you know?
And we don't know that terrorists aren't coming through. We don't know that people aren't coming from other countries, in the Middle East and anywhere in the world. We don't know that terrorists aren't slipping through with those people that, just want to come here and seek our opportunity, which obviously I am totally for making them do it the right way.
Right. But if you remember when Trump was putting hard policies about immigration, Trump administration wants everyone to come with a legal process.
Come legally. Exactly.
Right, legally. So he built a wall and people says, oh, he's racist, he's the worst, blah, blah, blah. And then they have pictures of some kids in a jail or something like that. That, by the way, that was implemented by Clinton administration back in the 90s. And that was a huge deal. But this crisis, the local media or the liberal media have been quiet and silent about it.
And
now, if Governor DeSantis or Governor Abbott from Texas, like you mentioned, bring those to, so like Kamala Harris place or some of the liberal areas, oh, they get offended. They get really upset about it. But they are the people, they approve these failing policies that's making our borders dangerous. So.
Yep. And yeah, absolutely. And when Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis have shipped the illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard and Washington, D.C. and Kamala Harris's own vice presidential mansion, they don't bring them in. They don't, those illegal immigrants are shipped there. They don't welcome them into their living rooms. They send them they ship them out.
I want to ask you something. What policies do you feel more safe and efficient? Trump policies or Biden policies about the immigration situation?
I absolutely think President Trump's approach is a million times better than the way the Biden administration is handling the situation. In fact, from my understanding, neither Biden nor Kamala Harris are setting time aside to go even visit the border, so they don't even know what's going on.
Exactly, and that's a big problem. Now, the other thing that I saw is that a lot of people from California having moving to the south, states like Arizona and Texas, and people from New York, they're sick and tired as well with the failing liberal policies from New York, are moving to Georgia and Florida down south. What I see in the last 3 or 4 years is that Arizona have become a blue state. They just elect 2 senators, and they have a governor who is a Democrat. Same thing Georgia, because very much of the immigration that's living inside immigration, I mean, local U.S. citizens moving from one place, they're sick and tired of failing policies in New York and California. This is no secret. Everybody knows this. But it's affecting the South. Now the South is Democrat because these people, even though they're sick and tired living there in California and New York, but they go to Arizona, Georgia, but they want to vote Democrat.
They take their same poor ideas with them to a new place. Exactly. It's a problem for sure.
Yeah, and voting Democrat isn't going to help because now they re-elect those guys. They're going to start increasing their taxes, putting some policies and spending so much money, increasing government, making government big, and those things doesn't work, as you know. So it is tough. And now Texas is one of the states that there's the main reason always when we win Texas as a Republican state, we always have a chance to win the presidential election. But if they keep bringing illegal immigration, they eventually in the next 10 or 20 years, their kids is going to be voting, or some of them going to be voting, plus people living from California moving to Arizona and Texas. I'm afraid we're going to have always Arizona and very soon Texas become a Democrat, and it's going to be very difficult for Republicans to win a presidential election if that happens.
And that's what the Democrats want to happen.
Right, and it's happening, and it's sad. I mean, hopefully Ronald Romney and some of the Republicans in each state is starting making some reforms, starting making some ideas, strategies, how we gonna keep our states red, because it's gonna be terrible if that happens. So, but I'm optimistic. I believe that we have good people. We learned from the last two elections, and I think 2024 is going to be very interesting. And I believe more than interesting, going to be a positive outcome for the Republican Party, since the economy is doing really, really bad. And I think it's important that inflation is keep growing. Hopefully, the housing market doesn't crash. Hopefully, things change for positive. And I think the Republican House is going to stay strong against Biden administration, and we have hope right there. What do you
Well,
think, my friend?
I agree, but first and foremost, we'll have to be watching the GOP primary for the 2024 election very closely.
Do you think we're going to have a chance to get some 6 seats back from the U.S. Congress, or maybe some seat? Maybe we can win one U.S. Senate seat in the future.
Yeah, I think it's in the realm of possibility. I think, of course, we have to hit at the right issues. And unfortunately, especially here in Michigan, this past election, I think abortion had a major impact on the overall outcome of the election. So we've got to quit letting the Democrats we've got to stop allowing the Democrats to put proposals on the ballot that sway them independent voters. And we've got to start really hitting the ground, because sometimes I have to really question how hard some of these people worked. Did they think, oh, it's going to be a red wave, so let's just go with the flow? Or were they out door knocking? Or were they out putting up signs? Because I know when you ran, you worked your tail off. So I just have to question whether all these Republicans worked as hard as we were expecting them to. So I do think we always have to put our best foot forward. You can never get complacent, but I do think we have a very optimistic outlook in 2024. But it's obviously we have to put the work in to succeed at the end of the day.
I agree. You got a good point. I see Republican candidates like Lisa McClain.
Absolutely.
They work really, really hard, not just by knocking on doors, raising the money, but be always in contact with the public, which is very important. They were putting yard sign, knocking on doors, the candidate, even Lisa's husband, working 24/7, and she won big time. But I didn't see other candidates doing the same groundwork. I mean, they believe sometimes sending a postcard that's enough, or robocalls, but that's not enough. You need to work in the ground, need to knock on doors and have a personal contact with your district. It's how you win, really.
Absolutely, having a ground game, hitting at the right issues, door knocking, all of it matters.
Well, we talk about today the highlights very much in Michigan and some of the issues about United States, but we'll see. I'm very optimistic about 2023 and 2024, and I want to thank you always for being available to be here on my show, and then your comments. Before we finish, I want to ask you one last thing. Do you know anyone already that's saying it's going to be running for any of the seats for U.S. Senate for Michigan? Besides, I hear the Democrats may ask Pete Buttigieg. Besides him,
Buttigieg. Yeah, there's always speculation that Alyssa Slotkin might get in the race on the Democrat side. Now that Buttigieg lives in Michigan, I'm hearing more hype about him. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Debbie Stabenow is going to retire, however. People like that, they don't want to give up power so easily. That's why we have people the age of Nancy Pelosi who are in their 80s in Congress at the current time. On the Republican side, I'm hearing that Ryan Kelly's interested. Apart from that, I don't have any more insight on the GOP side, so we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out going forward.
I see. Well, thank you, Troy, for your time, and well, I'll see you soon. I know we're gonna be doing a lot of these shows. Well, thank you so much, and have a good day, my friend.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.